thought maybe you could start by just talking about this being your first French film. Your career up till now is sort of more or less evenly split between Holland and Hollywood. What was it like working in France for the first time?
It was wonderful, in fact. I mean, of course, I was very scared because of language and culture. So it took me some time to adapt to making a film in a language that was really not mine anymore.
You were fluent in French before?
Oh, yeah, I had been living in France when I was 17, but that is 6 years ago, so not much of that was left. And so I went to a crash course, French, and for a week, and then I jumped into the water there. So it went very well, you know. I think doing the directing in French for a crew of 40, 50 people gave me a lot of respect, because I didn't force all these people to speak English. I mean, so I felt that it would be strange to force a French crew that basically, yeah, of course they speak English to a certain degree, but to force them really to speak French, to speak English. And so I thought that I should force myself to speak French.
In some ways, I think it's fitting that you ended up eventually making a film in France. The French critics have always been, I think, very supportive of your work, even many...
Showgirls, yes.
Yes,
yeah.
Showgirls in particular. I think I was going back and looking at some of the reviews.
The French were the first one to see that it was a masterpiece, isn't it?
Yeah, and it took the rest of the world a while to catch up.
Cahiers du cinéma, Jacques Rivette.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that struck me about Elle was that it didn't undergo this sort of delayed process of appreciation, which some of your other films have been subjected to, like Showgirls and Starship Troopers. And if you look at Elle on paper or even on the screen, it's a film that could be looked at as quite provocative, and it has the ambiguities of your other films. Right. But in Cannes, I think people were very willing to engage with those complexities and not attack the film, which I think could have been possible.
Yeah, so probably the film turned out to be a bit different than if you read the script. I mean, as you know, we tried to make this movie in the first place in United States. I mean, that was our first idea. And so I started to work with an American scriptwriter, David Burke, to write a script that where the French film was it was based on a French book, and that was situated in Paris. And so we translated or transformed everything into same story, but situated in Chicago or Boston or something like that. And that script was written, and then we found out that neither from a financial point of view, say like a co-production or whatever, but especially from an artistic point of view, it was absolutely impossible based on that script and people reading that script to find an American actress that wanted to do it.
I don't think we want to give too much more away about Elle for people who haven't seen it, but can you just say a little bit about working with Isabelle Huppert, and how do you direct somebody like Isabelle in a role like this, which is so complex in a moment to moment?
Saying nothing, to be honest. I don't think we had any dialogue, Isabelle and I, about character or about psychology or about what the essence of the movie was, or none. We were talking a lot about her dress of the day, you know, that the color, how long, and all that stuff, the hairstyle, the color of the hair. I mean, how, and then basically. The choreography of the scene, basically when she was among other actors, how she would walk and to the left and to the right and sit down and get up and not too fast, and something like that. We didn't talk about, we did it. She came to the set, we did it, we shot it. I said, well, this, that, so, boom, yeah. I mean, it sounds strange, but I trusted her completely. I've trusted her intuition. I think as a woman, she would anyhow more about her feelings than I do. And I let her go. I gave her all freedom possible, and was often amazed by the intensity and the audacity of her acting. So, often it was that I thought, okay, now the scene is done or the shot is done. I should say cut, and I could not say cut. I could not, because she was still continuing and continuing, and all that stuff is in the movie. So it was as if we knew exactly what we are doing, but we didn't have to talk about it in any way. It's the truth, you know. So, and she will tell you exactly the same story.
Is that how you typically work with actors, or can you only do that with Isabelle Huppert?
No, I think that, although I trust actors, of course, to know better at the moment of shooting, to know better how to express themselves than I do, you know. Of course, that's why they do it and not me. I don't do it. But in fact, this was unique because I think, and I have seen Isabelle saying this, if we would have started to talk about the psychology and the development of her, well, there is not really development in this movie. I mean, this is not absence of development. I mean, I think the person that you see in the beginning is as mysterious as the person they see at the end of the movie. I don't think you have any... she's authentic, you believe her, you believe in the character, but you cannot really understand her completely.